Straight ahead on OC News, just hours ago, our governor signed a bill raising minimum wage in California, eventually to $15 an hour. We'll talk to students to see what they think. We are saving water, but is it enough? The latest results show we have not met our goal. And in sports, it's opening day in baseball, and our Titans are on a winning streak. That plus weather and health news. OC News starts right now.
Welcome to this edition of OC News. I'm Amy.
And I'm Morelli. OC News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Fullerton.
Minimum wage in California will increase to $15 by 2022, thanks to a bill signed by Governor Jerry Brown today. Christy Garcia asked CSUF students how this will affect them.
A bigger minimum wage is in the future for California. After much debate, California Governor Jerry Brown signed a bill raising the state minimum wage into law today. It will make California the first state in the country with a minimum wage of $15 an hour. The wage will rise slowly from its current $10 an hour over the next 6 years. It begins with a 50-cent per hour rise in January and will reach $15 an hour in 2022. So let's see what CSUF students have to say about this new law.
It's about time that we got an increase in wages. It personally doesn't really affect me because I don't work, but I know that I have a lot of college students, like friends, that work, and it's great because, you know, they're actually gonna make more money. Even though they work maybe less hours, they'll be making a little bit more, and that's gonna help them as students. And I think it's really important to be making extra money because books are expensive. Food's expensive. You spend a lot of money on food, especially when you're on campus for long hours. So it's really great to finally have a wage increase.
Well, right now I work at a minimum wage job, and that kind of sucks because it's hard to pay for rent, books, school, all of that. Just working with no degree, it's hard to get a job that's paying you more than minimum wage. And especially here in Southern California, things are expensive. So I think it's a good thing that minimum wage is going up, helps everybody, afford things that are almost like necessary nowadays. I mean, just living here is expensive, like I said. Buying food is expensive, everything. So I think putting more money into people's hands that are like going to go out and spend it in the market is beneficial to everyone.
It seems like CSUF students, both part-time workers and not, are very much in favor for this new bill. For OC News, this is Christy Garcia.
We've all done our part to reduce water during California's drought, but we might have to do more. Valeria is live with more on this issue. Valeria?
Thanks, guys. We're at one of Southern California's public universities, where you can see behind me has done a tremendous effort in reducing its water intake. Cal State Fullerton has already removed 11 acres of grass, reducing its water intake to at least 28%. Its executive order called for a statewide action to reduce water usage by 25%. Cities across the state had varying conservative goals based on population density per acre. Cal State used 23.9% less water during the last year. The savings fell short of governor's mandate goal of 25%. This is the 5th year for California's drought, even though the El Niño weather system brought a near average year of rain and snow in parts of the state. Californians will now be required to use 20% or less in order to commit to the water conservation effort. I'm Valeria Vasquez for OC News. Back to you at the studio.
The highly contested presidential race continues onto the state of Wisconsin as candidates continue to jab each other in order to win delegates, and President Obama meets with a NATO official in the Oval Office. Gabriel Castellanos has the latest in politics.
The next state up to vote in this year's primary election season is the state of Wisconsin. The state will go to the polls tomorrow in order to count their votes for who they wish to win their party's presidential nomination. Trump and Hillary lead their parties' respective races, but polls show they are behind in Wisconsin. Both Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz lead in the polls leading up to the vote. Cruz is projected to win about 42% of the GOP compared to Trump's 32%. 42 delegates are in line on the line in Wisconsin, and the candidates know the importance of tomorrow's vote. Things continue to get chippy as the latest comments from Trump have fueled his opponents in their continued attacks. Jim Acosta has the story.
Donald Trump knows the stakes all too well. After a bruising week, a big W in Wisconsin could change everything.
But if we do well here, folks, it's over. If we don't win here, it's not over. But wouldn't you like to take the credit in Wisconsin?
While he's scrambling to catch Ted Cruz, who's leading in Wisconsin, the GOP frontrunner is attacking John Kasich, accusing the Ohio governor of being nothing more than a spoiler.
He's lost like 29 or 30 or 31 times, whatever the hell it is. Every single state and every single island. He ought to get the hell out. And let me tell you, he hurts me much more than he hurts Cruz.
Already looking ahead to New York, Kasich's message for Trump: don't hold your breath.
Donald Trump said that I need to get out of the race because I'm getting his voters. Well, I've got news for him. I'm going to get a heck of a lot of his voters.
Trump is also busy mopping up his recent messes, telling the New York Times he made a mistake, retweeting an unflattering picture of Cruz's wife. But he's still dominating the headlines, with the New York Magazine saying Trump is sweaty and spent after wearing a bulletproof vest at his rallies. And he raised eyebrows when he predicted over the weekend the country is heading toward a very massive recession. A comment he tried to clean up today.
What I said is we're going to go into a massive recession. But I also say, if I'm president, that's not going to happen, because I'm going to straighten things out.
Add to that Trump's furious attempts to clarify his position on abortion.
Right now, the laws are set, and that's the way the laws are.
The real estate tycoon's team is lashing out at its critics. One internal Trump campaign memo titled "Digging Through the Bull" says America is sick of them. Their idiotic attacks just remind voters why they hate the Washington establishment. Donald Trump 1, Washington establishment media 0.
Thank you.
As for Cruz, he's confident that Trump's stumbles are keeping him in the hunt, especially if the race goes to a contested convention, where he wants to hold Kasich to GOP rules requiring candidates to rack up 8 wins to qualify for the nomination.
There are only 2 candidates who will have met that threshold. The choice will be between me and Donald Trump.
Cruz is trying to capitalize on Trump's weakness among women, blaming him for a National Enquirer story that claimed the Texas senator was being unfaithful to his wife.
It's completely made-up nonsense. It's simply not true. I have always been faithful to my wife. I love my wife.
Supreme Court voted today that ruled unanimously today. The states may continue to count all residents in drawing up election districts. This comes after efforts from some conservatives to change the system to draw districts based on eligible voters rather than total population. This would have not included children as well as prisoners and immigrants. This would have vastly shifted the power to more rural districts rather than urban centers that have greater populations and tend to vote for Democrats. Justice Ginsburg had the opinion of the court, stated that the founders understood that representatives speak for all residents, not just the ones that can vote. The court did not, however, state that individual states couldn't change the process in which they make the districts. Also, President Barack Obama and NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg met in the Oval Office today to discuss the battle on terrorism and last month's attack on Brussels. The president sought to highlight the United States' commitment to the organization in wake of Republican frontrunner Donald Trump's criticism of NATO.
It is because of the strength of NATO and the transatlantic partnership, this transatlantic alliance, that I'm confident that despite these choppy waters, we will be able to continue to underscore and underwrite the peace and security and prosperity that has been the hallmark of the transatlantic relationship for so many decades.
NATO's traditional focus has been as military alliance between all NATO members. Trump has said the other nations are not pulling their own weight, which has been a criticism in the past. However, President Obama made it a point to highlight NATO's importance for American security.
NATO continues to be the linchpin, the cornerstone of our collective defense and U.S. Security policy.
This meeting comes months before President Obama goes to speak at the NATO summit in July.
Coming ahead on OC News, California heat prompts one city to hold Arbor Day early. A listeria outbreak has caused broccoli recalls across the South and Midwest. And April is upon us, so he is here to tell us what that means for this week's weather.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
And now for the latest developments in health news from Elaine Kong.
Thanks, guys. Frozen broccoli sold in 11 states are being recalled over fear of Listerine contamination. 1,800 cases have been voluntarily recalled. They were distributed in states in the southern part of America, affecting bags that have been labeled information UPC 51933001110. Anyone who has this product is urged to throw it away. Listerine infection causes serious and at times fatal infections in children, elderly people, and those with weakened immune systems. It can also cause miscarriages and stillbirths. The company says no illnesses have been associated with the product so far. New study out of Denmark suggests certain sunscreen ingredients may alter the way sperm cells are supposed to work. In the US and European Union, ultraviolet filters are allowed in sunscreen. The study looked at 29 of the 31 filters and tested them on live, healthy human sperm cells. Results from the study suggest 9 of the UV filters are being disrupted, and some have the potential to affect sperm. What was found in the study is enough for the leaders in the study to call for clinical studies. The research was presented Friday during the Society's 98th annual meeting in Boston. Obesity is not only in the United States. It's gone global in 2016, and it's getting worse. The medical journal published a new study saying that in 4 decades worldwide, obesity is more than tripled amongst men and doubled amongst women. The study predicts that in less than 10 years, 1 in every 5 adults in the world will be obese. CNN's Kelly Morgan has the details.
As a population, we are growing, and not just in numbers. We are, according to a new study, fatter than ever.
There has been for a long time in the world more underweight people than there were obese people, and in the past decade or so, we have actually switched to a world in which there are more obese people.
The study is the biggest of its kind and looked at the body mass index of 19.2 million people in 186 countries over the past 40 years, creating a unique global picture. It found that in 1975 there were 105 million obese men and women. That figure now stands at 641 million. Broken down, almost 11% of men in the world are obese. That's a 3-fold increase over 4 decades. And there are even more obese women, almost 15% of the female population. And the picture is expected to get a lot worse. The World Health Organization and United Nations set a target back in 2011 to reverse the growing rate of obesity by the year 2025. Well, this study says that's just not going to happen, that actually by then, 1 in 5 people in the world will be clinically obese. It's an epidemic British health campaigner Tam Fry says could have been avoided.
This is far beyond a crisis. The crisis actually was back in 2003, 2004. And we've just, by failing to do anything positive, we have let this crisis develop into what is a tragedy.
It's the wider health and economic repercussions he's worried about, the links that obesity has to illnesses such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease and cancer, all potential killers, all an increasing strain on the public purse. Experts blame our faster, more urban lifestyles and the proliferation of convenience foods, which contain high amounts of sugar. While some countries have started introducing taxes on the sweetener, the study author says a global problem requires a global response.
It's a hard battle, but it's a battle that is influencing people's health, and it's especially influencing the health of people who can least afford it.
The WHO hasn't given up on its 2025 goal, but is calling for all member states to be more aggressive in the fight. Kelly Morgan, CNN London.
That's all I have for health. Back to you guys.
Break is over and it looks like April showers are looming in our future. Let's toss to Zoe with more on this week's weather.
Spring is in full swing here in Orange County. I'm sure we were all feeling the heat today, but we might see a little rain later on this week. First, let's take a look at today's forecast. Today was very warm with a high of 81, but we'll reach a temperature of 55 degrees tonight, so a little bit cooler. The winds today will reach 9 miles per hour, and the humidity is at 32%. The sun rose at 6:35 this morning, and it will set tonight at 7:15. Let's take a look at the rest of the week. We can enjoy the heat until Wednesday with temperatures reaching the high 80s, but don't forget your umbrellas on Thursday and Friday because we will be having some light April showers. But don't worry, the sun will be back out just in time for the weekend. Evenings this week are looking a little chilly in the mid to high 50s. Now let's see what's happening with the rest of the U.S. The heat will be continuing along the south with Texas hitting highs of 85 and continuing down into Florida as you can see. It'll be a warm week for the southern states, but it still looks like winter for much of the northwest, for much of the northeast. We will see a cold front moving in from New York to Minnesota with temperatures dipping into the low 30s in the Midwest and a low of 33 in Chicago. While the north is bundling up, the southern states will be putting on some sunblock. This has been Zoe Nascentes with your weather forecast. Back to Amy Anarelli.
Next up after the break, Fullerton baseball is on a roll, and a new location in the OC is serving up an ice cream donut concoction that is sure to dazzle.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? You know you do. Yeah, but I don't know where to start. That's why we're here. We're free, handsome. I think we're breathtaking. And here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. I got this. Is that brand? Colleges love extracurricular activities. Chess really isn't my thing. I got this. Doesn't matter. Go ahead. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Fire and ice.
Those don't really go together. Go to GetSchooled.com for more info.
Both Titan baseball and softball did well over the weekend, while opening day for the Angels and Dodgers is today. Let's go now to Alfredo Sanchez, who has these sports stories and more.
Thank you, Aurelie.
Let's start with Cal State Fullerton baseball. The Titans open Big West Conference play on a good note as they swept the 3-game series against CSUN. They are now 16-11 overall and will be facing San Diego tomorrow at 6. Titans softball also began conference play and they did it on the right foot by sweeping the 3-game series against UC Riverside. The Titans were so dominant in the series that the first and third game ended in less than 7 innings. They are 28-10 overall and will be going on the road this coming weekend to face Cal Poly. Sticking to the bats and gloves, MLB's opening day is this week. Both the Angels and Dodgers start their quest for the World Series title. The Angels will be facing the Chicago Cubs while the Dodgers are on the road to face the San Diego Padres. As of right now, the Dodgers are leading 3-0 on the bottom of the 4th. How about those Kansas City Royals? They began their season yesterday in a World Series rematch against the New York Mets. Could they get the win? Let's go to the highlights and find out. The Royals celebrated the 2015 World Series title before the first pitch of the game, which they won in 5 games at the expense of the Mets. Let's begin on the bottom of the 1st. Eric Hosmer hits Matt Harvey's pitch between the second and third base for the single, which allows Mike Moustakas to score from second base. Lorenzo Cain will move to third, and the Royals lead 1-0. Moving to the bottom of the 6th, the Royals have Cain in third with Alex Gordon at bat. Gordon hits one to center field, but Juan Lagares can't make the catch. Cain easily makes it to home, and the Royals stretch the lead 3-0. Bartolo Colon comes in for Harvey to stop the bleeding, but that doesn't happen. Omar Infante strikes a grounder to center field for the single, and that allows Gordon to score. The Royals would end up winning by a score of 4-3. Now to college hoops. The NCAA tournament is near its end, and only North Carolina and Villanova remain standing. It's been a while since one of these teams last won an NCAA title. The Tar Heels won it all back in 2009, while the Wildcats got theirs in 1985. Who will win the national title? We'll find out later on today. Now on to pro basketball. The Lakers only have 7 games left with Kobe Bryant alongside. One of those games was against the rival Boston Celtics. Could the Lakers give Kobe his last win against the men in green? Let's see. Last time these two teams faced each other, the Lakers won at the Garden 114-104. Kobe Bryant was on a mission. He shoots over Jay Crowder for the 3 and makes it. That bucket ties the game 9-9. Moving to the second quarter, Kobe steals the ball from Evan Turner, and what does he do? Turn back the clock for the slam dunk. Lakers are now down just 11 points. Now to the third quarter, Crowder goes to the paint and makes the basket for a chance for a 3-point play. He will end up with just 24 points. In the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, Isaiah Thomas puts in the finishing touches. Isaiah Boyd's the big guy in Roy Hibbert for the layup. The Lakers will go on to lose 107-100. Kobe would drop 34 points for this game. Well, that's all for sports. Back to you, ladies.
Before we leave you, how about something to cool you down in this hot weather? Reporter Amy Tran has the latest scoop, literally.
I'm at After's Ice Cream in Costa Mesa, where they're celebrating the grand opening of their 8th store. Their other locations include Roland Heights, Irvine, Pasadena, and various other locations. Behind me, there was a line of people waiting to get in, leading you to wonder what makes After's so popular that people would be lining up to go to an ice cream store. Well, the team behind After's is known for their innovative foods, such as the Milky Bun. What is the Milky Bun? The Milky Bun is an ice cream sandwich that is sandwiched between a glazed or unglazed donut. Let's talk to some people and see what makes them love After's. I'm here with Melanie at the grand opening of After's Ice Cream. Melanie, can you tell me what you got?
I have the acai with sprinkles and in a donut.
What made you decide to come out to After's for their grand opening tonight?
Well, I heard a lot about it through, social media and just like word from friends and everything. And they had good reviews about it. And I was like, wow, it's like you just wanted to try it and see what it was like.
So you're definitely a fan?
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll see you at After's.
Yes.
I am with the CEO and co-founder Scott Neum of After's Ice Cream. Scott, can you please tell me how you came up with the concept of the Milky Bun?
Everybody wants like kind of the same story from us. Like me and Andy got like super wasted. we had a donut and ice cream and put it together. But it was actually a well thought out plan for us to introduce something unique compared to like, the ice cream sandwich with cookies or like with brownies. And ironically, I was literally just driving to work one day and I saw a donut store and I thought this would be probably a great idea. And I brought it and I met up Andy to have lunch and he was like, "What are you doing with that? We're going to go have lunch right now." And I was like, "No, this is it, man. This is going to be the next big thing." We tried it and it was good. And that's what we decided to run with.
For your foodie news, I'm Amy Tran with OC News.
Oh my gosh, I would kill for ice cream right now in this weather.
Definitely sounds good. We would love to have you join us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, all under the OC News CSUF handle. That's all for today's show. Thanks again for joining us on OC News. We'll see you back here live at 5 p.m. on Wednesday.